The Fifth Estate's Mark Kelley was in Quebec City this week to tell the story of the shooting that shocked the nation. He spoke with people who have not spoken before about what it was like in those fatal minutes.
To be frank with you, when I looked at his face, he's like a baby face. He has like a baby face. So when I thought about that, why would you do that? And why? And how confident, when you listen to the witnesses, he was very confident, he was very stable while shooting people.
Okay, eyewitness to the shooting inside the mosque, describing the shooter. The CBC's Mark Kelley joins me now in the studio with the details of what he found out this week. Mark, first of all, what are witnesses telling you about what happened?
Well, we heard some chilling stories, Carol, from what it was like in those moments inside that mosque when the shooter walked in. And one thing that kept coming up were the words cold-blooded, was the fact that we had heard earlier reports that he was shouting out at some of the victims before he started shooting them. Everyone that I spoke to said that wasn't the case. In fact, he didn't say a word, that he was methodically, carefully and calculatingly going by and shooting people one by one. And they said he would shoot from the door of the mosque, retreat, reload, come back again, even looking for people who were wounded to shoot them to try to kill them. As one man said, he had a plan, was to kill as many people as quickly as he could. And that, of course, was driving fear into the hearts for these people who were utterly defenseless. We do have a shot that's never been seen before that shows two empty clips from what's believed to be a 9mm handgun. So it's believed that he had reloaded at least twice as he was going on this rampage. But it also was just the portrait that's emerging of what was really driving this individual well, as we're getting little bits and pieces of details about the suspect in this case, Alexandre Bissonnette.
Mm. Okay, and what are you finding out about him?
Well, certainly that we're looking at a guy, when we spoke to people who'd gone to school to him, I mean, I'd seen in reports that had come out in the media that he'd been bullied, but not to the extent that we actually learned about. I mean, when we're talking about high school years for this guy, spoke to a couple of former classmates who talked about the fact that he was bullied relentlessly. This wasn't a one-off. One individual was telling us how he was bullied every single day of the school year. He said even at Christmas, around Christmas season, people would continue the bullying. And that drove him further and further to become much more of an introvert. And, people now looking at the psychological profile that's emerging, of course, was also the anger. How could he be radicalized and really channel the anger that was clearly, it seemed to be welling up in him? And was there a trigger now? Why now? What had happened? Because what's also emerging right now in the investigation, Carol, is this was premeditated. I spoke to a couple of people who had seen him at the mosque on the Thursday and the Saturday prior to the Sunday shooting. So that this wasn't that there was one event that he decides to go out on Sunday, that clearly this was a planned attack. Mm-hmm. And was there anything investigators want to look at now that they had actually missed in their investigation? Yes, he was online. Yes, he was being radicalized online with some of these far right-wing groups, but there are so many people out there that doesn't turn them into a potential mass murderer. What was that difference? That's what police are looking at right now.
Okay, and through the charges, and these are their allegations, how is the mosque preparing? Was the mosque preparing for an attack like this?
Well, this is the thing that really came out in our investigation that I found surprising, Carol. First, we found out that there were at least 7 incidents in recent years involving that particular mosque where police had been called in. And one by one, what they did at the mosque is they started adding these surveillance cameras. So one by one, up to the fact now they had 8 cameras in place. Those cameras, of course, are going to be critical in the case that's brought against Alexandre Bissonnette, the footage that will be released, because when I spoke to officials at the mosque, all of those cameras were working on that Sunday night, the night of the massacre. But what they're also what's told us was just 2 weeks ago, imagine this, 2 weeks ago at the mosque, they'd finalized plans to what they said to fortify that mosque. They were going to put a security door in the front and an escape door in the back. They'd finalized the plan. They had the architects come in, and they were planning to do this in the coming months. They said they wanted to get that done before Ramadan in early June. So they knew that there was a potential for something. Not this, but they knew there was something, a potential for something bad. They were putting measures in place to protect people. Obviously, this is going to come far too late for the 6 men who were killed that night last Sunday.
I look forward to seeing your piece, Mark.
Thanks, Carol.